Whoa. Whoa. Look at this drummer go. Woo. Okay. Slow down, Mr. Drummer Man. Whoa there. What's up, everybody? It's Mr. Mikey. I am so excited to do this with you guys. And you guessed it, we're going to be talking about drumming today and how you can be a great drummer just by watching this video all the way through. I'm here in Massachusetts. I'm working at a new church, following God's plan for my life because God has a plan right where I am. That's right. I miss all my co-teachers, all my Pontiac ITA kids and Birmingham kids. Oh, miss you guys so much. And I never got a chance to thank you guys for this. Thank you so much. I keep it right here at my desk here so I can always see it. But anyways, on to our topic today, the drums. I'm going to show you how you can create awesome drum beats right on your phone, tablet, or computer. Maybe you already know how to do that, but we're going to have a good time with it today. But first, let's talk a little bit about what makes drums sound good.
Drum sets come in all different sizes. Some have tons and tons of percussive instruments on them. Some are very minimal and very small. But no matter how big or small your drum set is, every drum set that you hear in the music that you listen to is going to have at least these three components. The first is the kick drum for that low, boomy sound played with your foot. It's also always going to have a hi-hat for that high, metallic-y sound. And then there's also the snare drum, which is somewhere in the middle, kind of like a hand clap. And drumming is essentially a conversation. It's a conversation between the snare drum and the kick drum with the hi-hat filling in the space between. Like this. Conversation. The kick drum talks, the snare drum talks back. And the hi-hat fills in the gaps. Sometimes you have drum beats where the kick drum talks a lot, like this one. Sometimes you have drum beats where the snare drum talks a lot, like this one. Like that. But no matter what, it's always going to be a conversation. Now, the beauty part is you don't have to have a drum set at your house to be able to understand this concept and to be able to do it well. You can find objects all over your house and create a little three-piece drum set. All you need is a low boomy sound, like a foot stomping on a wood floor. You need that high metallic sound, like silverware clinking together or something like that. And then the in-between sound, the snare drum sound, which is kind of like a book when you close it really hard. But I'll show you. Let's check it out around my house. Kick drum, hi-hat, snare drum.
So as you can see, you can be creative just using common household objects. Disclaimer, do not make a bunch of noise in your house and drive your parents crazy and say that Mr. Mikey told you to, okay? Just do it in limited quantities, all right? We clear? All right. All right, back to it. So, I'm sure you've seen people drumming on a drum set, right? That's a common thing. And I wonder if you've also seen somebody drumming on something like this, a little different. Let's check this guy out. pretty cool. Am I right? Am I right? So what he's doing is he's got a machine, and he's got different drum sounds programmed into each button, and he's learned to play the machine like a drum set. And that's a lot closer to what I'm going to be showing you how to do today. You're going to be making your own drum beats. You are the drummer today. And I want you to send me your drum beats when you're done. Email them to me, upload them, and post them in the comments below, whatever. Try to impress me. Try to make it interesting. So the first thing I want you to do is pause this video and ask an adult in your house if you can borrow their smartphone or their tablet if you don't already have one that you can use, okay? Done? Okay. Next, if you're using an iPhone or iPad, download an app called GarageBand if it's not already on there. If you're using an Android or the Google Play Store, you can download an app called Walkband, W-A-L-K, Walkband. So I got GarageBand on my iPad here. I'm going to open it up. When you first open it, you'll probably see a welcome screen and videos on how to use it, which you can skip past. And you want to have a new project created. If it doesn't already do it for you, you can just tap this little plus in the upper right corner. And there's a lot of different options here, but obviously we're going to go to drums, and you're going to tap Beat Sequencer. It's going to bring you to a screen that looks something like this. Now, if you're using Walkband on an Android, you want to go to Drum Machine, which will take you to a screen that looks like this. Very similar concept. They pretty much work exactly the same. Okay, you can see there's a lot of different colors here and a lot of different squares. But if you notice, there's four, say you look at the top row of all the pink squares, there's 4 sections of 4 squares each. And we're going to call each section a beat. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. And each of these beats has got 4 little squares in them, okay? Now if I tap the top left square, all of a sudden we got a kick drum right on beat 1. You go ahead, you try it. And once you got that down, add another kick drum on beat 3. Okay, we got kick drums on beats 1 and beat 3. Now this pattern is just going to keep repeating over and over again until we stop it. If you want to stop it ever, you can just tap the little green icon at the bottom and it'll stop. Tap it again to play it again. And let's add a snare drum. The snare drum is the orange right below the pink. So we're going to put a snare drum on beats 2 and 4. There we go. Now this is starting to sound like something. Now let's say you put a drum in the wrong spot. You can just tap it to make it disappear. Tap it again to make it reappear. Like that. So we've got a kick drum, we've got a snare drum. Now what's missing? A hi-hat, which is the first blue row. So we're going to add 2 hi-hats in each beat, like this. There we go. Now this is a drum beat. If you go back to the beginning of this video, this is the first drum beat that I played for you on my drum set here, and it's one of the most basic foundational drum beats you can make. Now another thing you can do in the bottom left is you can change what type of drum set you want to use. There's lots of different types of kick drum sounds, of snare drum sounds, of hi-hat sounds. For a beat like this, I think I want to go with an acoustic kit like the Bluebird. Yeah, that sounds a little bit more like classic rock, classic pop sound. Now let me just pause here and show you something I discovered on the app. If you're using GarageBand on a phone, I noticed that when I picked a new drum set sound, it had a bunch of pre-made beats already in there, and I was like, I want to start a brand new project. So all you got to do is just tap this lower left icon and then click New Pattern, and then you'll get to start from scratch. So just a quick tip right there. All right, let's get back to it. So we've got our beat here, and then the last most important thing, go to this little gear icon and tap tempo. Now, tempo tells your drum beat how fast it can go, and I can sort of slide it up to make it go faster. I can tap it to make it go slower, or just slide it down to make it go slower. Now, it's the same drum beat. It's all the same notes. You still have 2 kick drums, you still have 2 snares, you still have 8 hi-hat hits, but the tempo tells your drum beat how fast it can go. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm already kind of sick of that beat. The whole kick snare thing is getting old. I want to make it more interesting. And I'm going to tell you 3 ways you can make a simple beat like that more interesting. The first way is just change the kick drum. Leave the snare and the hi-hat the same, but change the kick drum. Let me show you. All right, so I'm just going to get rid of these kicks. The only thing I'm going to recommend that you do with this is keep the first kick the same. Keep the first one the same. But then just experiment. Just add kick drums anywhere. As long as you're in one of these squares, you really can't go wrong. Let's see how this sounds. Oh, that's not bad. Still feels a little bit not funky enough for me. How about, what if I do like this? Ah, I like that. So just experiment a little bit. And you know what? This is not really sounding like a classic beat anymore. This is the type of thing that I'm going to use an electronic kit for. Let's try this minimalist kit. Oh, yeah, there we go. That sounds really nice. So you can see I didn't change the hi-hat. I didn't change the snare. I just changed the kick drum. See how that created an immediate improvement? That's our first way. Keep the snare and the hi-hat the same, change the kick drum. Now, let's keep the kick and the snare the same as our original classic rock beat, but let's change the hi-hat like this. All right, so I'm going to go back to the way we had our kick drum before, which is just on beats 1 and beat 3. Now, I'm just going to take the hi-hat and I'm just going to like put random beats everywhere and just see what it sounds like. Let's see. See how there's an immediate, it just makes it more fun. And let's just see if I... You could put hi-hat beats on every single one if you wanted. Even that makes it a little bit more interesting. One of my favorite beats is just having it on just the first 3. I really like that sound. So what's next? Obviously, let's try changing the snare. Let's bring the kick back to beats 1 and 3. Let's bring the hi-hats to just having 2 hi-hat beats in 2 hi-hat hits in each section or each beat. And now let's change the snare and see what happens. So I can already tell you, since I know a little bit about what this is going to sound like, that I'm going to want to increase my tempo for this one. This is going to end up sounding a little bit more like a non-American beat, like a Latin beat, like a South American beat. So I'm just going to bring this tempo up a little bit. I'm also going to change to on the app I had a, let's try this Hacienda kit. Let's see what we got here. No. Let's do roots. All right. Let's add some snare drum beats randomly. Now, snare drum is much harder for me personally to get it to sound the way I want it, but let's try some things. Okay. It's really cool. It has a danceable feel to it, right? Now you can see if I slowed it down, it wouldn't quite sound right. Like if I had it back in the 70s. It's not bad, but I think when you move the snare drum around, the faster tempos are better. Very good. That's cool. And that's it, guys. That's my tutorial. Thank you so much for joining. Obviously, you can experiment beyond what I've taught you today. You can start maybe adding some more of these sounds that you see on these rows, changing more than just one instrument at the time, you know, change kick drum and snare drum, change hi-hat and snare drum. And the last thing I want you to do is, of course, send your beats in. I want to hear them. I want to hear what you've come up with, hear your creativity. So in GarageBand, at least, I'm not positive how to do this in Walkband, but in GarageBand, at least, you click the upper left corner to go back to this menu. You hold down the song that you've created, hold it down, and then just click share. And then obviously you can send your song as a stereo audio file to somebody, email it, text it. But that's how you do it. I want to hear them. So I think my contact information will be in the description below, or you can post it as a video and comment right here on this YouTube video. Thanks so much for joining. That's all the time we have for today. What's that? Oh, you want to see the video of the day, do you? Oh, it's been a while since I've done this. Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end this video the way all videos should be ended, which is videos of my adorable children. Eden is now 3 years old, and my son Graham is 1, who none of you have ever met. Here they are. Enjoy.
Yeah. Oh, you don't want me to?